Therefore, welcome back into the third media video audio presentation of the manuscripts of philosophy after the Chronicles of Immortality, known as what the Conversation Alpha, Generation Alpha, Year 1, Day 1. But as we are now in paragraph 17, point 17, introduction 17, page 17, sonnet 17, and also portrayals and portrait 17 of manuscripts and scriptures were introduced now through what media audio presentations. That one is the Generation Alpha, Conversation Alpha, Year 1, Day 1. Therefore, when we ended in the previous presentation of the second one, now we're in the third one. That thy hollow space be thy name. Now, thy name is the beginning of introduction 17, page 17. Thy name, thy shall be praised. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it will be done in heaven. I introduced most that before I read it, you see? Yeah. While they all first copied their not own, they copied what is not their own existence of religious religion. Whereas, I don't know how they did it. They translated the First Testament into good news. Thou shalt not what? Lie. Thou shalt not drink. But respect. Thou shalt not trespass. Okay, I'm going, guys. Okay. 10 Commandments. Because Moses what came from another continent to another continent, and he gave them those 10 Commandments. But when they said you won't be able to go into their paradise of the promised land, but just they went there in that thing. Well, so it was not their existence of religious religion. They translated it from the First Testament. Oh. To unite themselves illegally to the multi-linguistic manuscripts of the religious education of one unity from the different diverse languages that just united in immortality, eternity, and spirituality to introduce one education and knowledge just in one religious language that they first understood, that was in fusion as in linguistic terms. So the one they understood what in eternity and in spirituality, but that was the same as that one. Okay. They never managed it. Linguistic terms of philosophy. In the literature of the Holy Quran. Now, what they are in the century time, in the 6th century, that they managed to find the translator of the Holy Quran. But remember, but it came when before Christ and before after Christ. In what existed so before Christ and after Christ? Was Moses what was before Christ and before after Christ? Meaning that spirit of Christ, even in heaven, it came, it arrived late. It arrived from somewhere else because what he was supposed to know what Holy Quran before Christ, but he knew it in the 6th century. Therefore, they invited themselves illegally to the multi-linguistic manuscripts of the religious educators in education of one unity from the different diverse languages that just united in immortality, eternity, and spirituality to introduce one education and knowledge just in one religious language. That they first understood that was infusion as in linguistic terms of philosophy in the literature of the Holy Quran, while the Holy Quran language is in fusion with all in one, all for one and one for all, in the ways of our fathers, what of the men of honor in the rules of engagement of one unity of spirituality and eternity in one religion, which is the Islamic religion, of multiracial native religions, but in one religion. In one nations of nations, clans, clan of clans, king of kings, lord of lords, immortal of immortality, and immortal of immortals, and descendants of descendants of same descendants of descendants, in those but who are in one unity of religious religion, of one religion, but in linguistic terms, what of mother tongue. Of the native nations in one unity with the nations of Jerusalem. Others say what will translate to them ke davuya uba kuthi kum masiyeni emzini kaYehova inyawo zethu zifike zema emasangweni akho Jerusalem. Jerusalem wena wakhiweyo ngokomzi ohlanganeyo wamnye apho zinyuka zikhona izizwe zikaYehova. Meaning what we were so happy to take the journey what into Jerusalem. But in Jerusalem, what we didn't enter, our feet what stood in the gates of Jerusalem. But Jerusalem that is built of multiracial native nations, what of the habitat of existence of Jehovah's existence, where he comes from with the spirituality of spiritualities. But these ones, they never managed to enter Jerusalem. Because Jerusalem was built in one unity of spirituality and immortality and spirituality of those who are in Jehovah. And number two, when Moses went to cross from one continent to another continent, those ones on the continent, they didn't come into Jerusalem, but in the period of the pharaohs in Cairo. They never went to Cairo. It's Moses who went to there. So even them, their feet never entered in Jerusalem until maybe in that 6th century. Citizenship, there are also ships. There are also what what do you call it? Cruise ships. Oh yeah, those three. What do you call? You see, shipments are happening now within ships that time in Citizenship. Boats are there, whatever. You see, whatever. They never went to Jerusalem until the 6th century when they managed to understand. Yo, so okay, that all unites the native nations of the various languages of the 12 continents. Listen, and then now there's another religion, Holy Bible, that is written in Xhosa, but that is also a translation now from the English one. That the English one translated it from those ones that were written in linguistic terms, what others in stones, others were written in caves, others were written in trees, others were written in sand, others were written in nothing. No, they never was written at all. The one year of eternity, especially in immortality, that was never in my manuscript. That was never written. Like the Chronicles of Immortality, which is the Third Testament, the Fourth Testament, the First Testament, the Fifth Testament, the Sixth Testament to the Ninth Testament. What about the tenth? The 10th one is the Ten Commandments and their principles, their ethics, their vows, their honor, their loyalty. Therefore, in various languages of the 12 continents of one earth, as for the 12 tribes of also the 12 years of slavery, but of the die out. You know the 12 slavery motion picture? Yeah, okay. And then it was 12 years of slavery, but to manuscript, the literature of the Chronicles of Immortality. Was caused by the second Jesus, known as Jesus Christ, where the word Jesus and Messiah are foreign but inherited language. There's no word in English that is Messiah in English. There's no word in English that is Jesus. Because Jesus in another Mediterranean nation, but it's yeses. But Messiah, Messiah, Messiana, Messihana, Messishi. Is that English, you know? Because there's Isaiah, there's Messiah, there's Desire, there's Desire. There's Isaiah, there's Nazia, there's Nazaya, there's Jazina, there's Jazmia, there's Mamma Mia Saya. Foreign names from other native nations' mother tongues, and their what one understanding when they speak it out, because what it is an inheritance and the endurance of its eternity and immortality and spirituality. But if you don't have what the commandments of them, but you will feel as if you are the greatest or you are the weakest, and then you will cause what all the seven commandments of Jesus Christ because you don't want to listen to the Ten Commandments. But of that first one, that they return the Ten Commandments, what in stones, in caves, others in the sand, others in the air, others in a tree, others in a you see, others they never even introduced whatever they never introduced. Therefore, you must know that this is a million time of existence, and now you and even it's gone, finished out. Because we are still waiting for the answers of what is the next the name of existence. Therefore, that also existed from all in one African signs of the soil, Jerusalem, from Cape to Cairo, philosophies of multiracial, various native nations of one earth philosophy from the first movement of Moses. Because before Christ of BC, that was also the Holy Quran, what first introductive. Now, Quran is the one that philosophized in its name. Now they have managed to translate it in the 6th century, but because they had their Bible, I don't know what is it, but I don't want to put it holy in a Bible. Bible. Who is it? It's one of their names. Kono Ble, Kono Blo, Kono. But Holy Quran was holy, but because what it had what the Ten Commandments and their values and their objectives and their honor and their engagements and whom they had their prophet, the last prophet. What there's only the one last prophet. I don't tell you his name of the Holy Quran. The last prophet and their prophet, oh, this last prophet, what in their manuscript they had, you see, what their messenger, and their messenger's name was Jesus. But now, before what the 6th century, meaning that let's go to minus 25,000 years. The Holy Quran was there, and their messenger was Jesus. And then now, in the 6th century, they've managed to translate now the Holy Quran into English. And then now they've managed to read the names of the Holy Quran. And then now they named Uchizas as Uchizas of the 6th century, of the century time, of the good news, of the English good news. That was known New Testament. That was never a Second Testament. Whereas it was not even a Second Testament. It was also minus 20 billion thousand years. But before we reached the century time of living, before even we reached before Christ and after Christ time of living, existence, not living. Because we're going nowhere to. You said those ones that your plan is not to live forever. Can get, I know, man. Why? Because you've enjoyed and inherited what disease is. From the first movement of Moses. Now, the last prophet, they had a messenger whose name was Jesus, but before Christ was introduced. And still after Christ was introduced, what it just became a flare that we never cared. Because we always stood with the Jesus of our messenger. But from before Christ, there is a Jesus, but without the spirit of Christ. So their good was God of the third industrial. And the third industrial is introduced by us as the century time of living. Because I told you, I want to tell you again, which was only for the existence of the century cycle of life. While you see now in century time, but it was God most, but we're living in the existence of the cycle of life. Mean life is going around and round and round and round and round and round and round. In other words, what's about something at all. Life is going round and round in circles. And then others, but they can solve for a circle to be a line. That's why we never took any piece of a pie. Because the pie is the only one that can put that thing in line. You know, Eastern kid is a pie past corner because it's going to say a mushroom. Going to say soil, we call it that thing and say, you buy Eastern kid, you will prove your man can show you. Go to tomato because you go to tanga. You know, you buy for the children, kuna buy orange, you know, for the oh, kuna mango, you mix in that and avocado, you buy your bro. No, so much with that. I want to need to want that, according to buy for chicken for the now in Chile, Japan, when you open your eyes and be wise. You know, exam. Chicken has been missing. But if you're eating the chicken, you all the breakfasting, you can't lie. Yeah, frown up a pamban, but who took the road back? I chicken corn, a big chicken, I can't want to go piece of fina see, if you let. You open your eyes and be wise. That's about buying your Lord, you got for a boutique, you don't come cheese. The food I want to follow up with the chicken is lost. You anything hang lion, you know, the get the chicken for the lion. You find out if not like your steak for the, you know, you can see a steak for the lion for the. I want Madagascar. You cheat, which was only for the existence existence of like oh for the steak for the chicken for the you of the of the century segment of life, while the fourth in the second open heart open mind is still what about zabantu baneminds zabantu in still what utasho musunatsika for the asuka what is still most le what the Quran until is still the Quran Unity Testament. Noma ngakunika Holy Quran uyifunde ngeyatsika ngestantsika sayo, you'll never understand it. It's because uyifunda. Now we're in page 18, in section 18, philosophy 18, literature 18, manuscript 18, sonnet 18, and the Museum of Fine Arts 18, but which is what the lovely portrayal that states what that there are those what who existed when everything was there, that never knew anything where it came from, but everything that they have learned, or they've learned it in English, so they can speak English and think that everything belongs to an English. And other languages, another language, what English, what is the same as another language. They speak one language, but they speak differently. And then they understand everything and think that it's all theirs. That's because it was introduced their Bible in English. And that thing belongs to the United Native Nations. Well, that is united in the Holy Quran. That other nations, what? You see? Who told me what? Who told me art? Artwork? What? ART? What? This art is in heaven. The heaven of God. The heaven who created earth. God created earth. Ne? So earth and heaven is what happens on earth will happen in heaven. Of God. Now uthixo nomnika nizwe Satan ngifena izinto mina kazi mina ngikulantsika ngo-18 sonnet ngifuna ngibambana wa 18 sonnet yo what yo big shots September 2019 18 sonnet all of those 18 sonnet bonga wamapha yo okay, let me first start in the beginning of the last line. So there is a Jesus, but with okay. I was in the fourth industrial is still the Quran until I don't see that name, Mama. When I don't see it. Yeah? What is the what? And nive cake of the liver, and dynatics the moderne feteskap van gezondheid. What are you speaking? Russian language. With their Scientology known as the Bergen cells. Sango, did is ham. In the man in a bear. She cells send cells. Into MGV, habe istela lokustela futhi nasikeni MGV ayosela nansika isangoma sakho amadlozi akubhedela kukulo ubiza isangoma kodwa amadlozi uhleli unawo kakade xa uhleli wafuna amadlozi umfazi akala amadlozi alo umfazi alo yini la akazothethi nansika kazi isinansika pha isinto isizurich into yo angoku ithe isihoho ngo hayi izurich ayihoho pha man yini izurich hayi ke yilo yo impene efundini Bergons van man denke no denke no denke no derke denker wat die grosse beginners van denke what the power of intelligence guys what from the beginning of existence that is the because it's Zurich no one says Zurich ya no nale na ka mi fuda pa so this is Russia no that is Russia is the battle for truth by 2018 kana mamelina tia da hleli Russia ngoli World Cup Russia le Russia ngaba Russia uto kaza Russia uto Ukraine nakaza ala la be Zimbabwe na mfethu no na fair ya ba Harare mangifuna ngapha ngin close up abi state mfethu ngokuvuza ngayidola makazi wa state wena mfethu yeah over yo my bro yo overseas kudini yo therefore let's complete and conclude what the 18th sonnet because what the one who's doing 18th sonnet part what is also what from maybe from let me check oh that one oh it's from Nancy Galwa from I don't know now they're from Nancy from Nancy oh. Therefore denke that is the battle for truth what all the time udenke wakho you see 16 when uthetha inyani what uthetha uxoka what udenke wakho uzakuxelela yena ngokuba ukubheke for truth xa uxokayo kodwa ngakuthetha inyani nale bexela yona pha nansi wa isikhulungwane ano lesikile oh ifike philosophy yakhe wena mfela manje wasikhuluma sithi uthi wena kazi xa uthetha inyani what wokumuntu aqabukela yo nawo kunyaniso sothetha inyani lo uthetha inyani yo wenza inyani uthetha ubuxoki yo ayibo athini ngo athi ayijike yonke into beyithethile umuntu just because behleli nawe apha ithela lo uzokwazi uyiphika ngoku xa ehleli nomnye okwaziyo uthetha ubuxoki abezinyani ngoku xa kuthetha nalo uthetha inyani ngoku uthetha inyani nyani ngoku uqhele kaloku wena uxoko lungcambazisa so ngoku inenzekayo inye into ukunatsika ngoku ukwidenke what over fooling who's fooling who only fool kalo. Therefore and yakhula nonke xa shela amaxesha okugula manje niyapambana niyaqala xa ixesha lenu leleni ixesha lokugula kwenu. Ngoba bonke abagulayo nabangaguliyo nalo ungaguliyo mos uyagula naye fika ixesha lakhe lokugula kalo abe engaguliyo kuyena ngoba akaguli kalo. Yabo omncinci nokunquma ngenye indlela nongoku ndithi to you denke that is the for truth the noble are you noble na I'm this you. And the third testament is also the philosophies of the third revolution. Ufuna ukuphila revolutions ubuza ibayo ngoku am I noble? I am noble by talking to you nje. But what? Now? Listen. But what? Unique. I was fooling you again. Baba, we baba waksin na. Ay pa. Unigile got. Ndo. Yo. Ante tinyan. So ke. Njela bana ngile pina samu. Yo. Ayo mizela yungu ndingazaziyo. So the third testament what was also introduced what as the third revolution, and then now the revolution what is the word what of the universe. So the third revolution what it states that on earth what is in Uzamba in rotation, what even from universe in rotation is a revolver in revolutions, meaning ngoku what kukhona eziye what eziza i-revolution yazo what ezaziwa zizo kwi-third revolution. Abanye bakwi-revelations what while abanye basahleli kwi-revolution what of no what revelation kanjani like nehleli phi kwi-revolution of no nothing zecwaka kugone. Uthi ugone lo kodwa uthethile unishiye ngicela kodwa ba yena kuba umkile kanye ugone kanye ngicela kodwa cha yini wena bezoxoxa what befuna uba idenke yami ayisidenga lokho wanti inyani ngalo ngongcwane serious kanti inyani kanti wawuxoxayo uyazi inyani eziwuxoki zethu uyazazi aziyiyo Year1 inyani meqa inyani asozibe qha inyani but it will keep you what in it. Imi bra what I'm wasting that up and paminangam yapi ngo chi ola ngo oh so the revolution by Richard Koch yo I ngicelo ngatsho ahlele diviswar okay I will go I killing okay sharp okay. While the last prophet what after what the last prophet but that one is not what the last prophet, because the last prophet what gave him the prophecy what of one vowel what one vowel or to say you have completed what a testament of the Third Testament, Fourth, Fifth Testament to the Ninth Testament. That's why I always said, I'm the last prophet, but not what I'm after. But not what the philosopher beyond and through the infinity before Christ and after Christ. But that came from the existence of AD. What? Not from Epistle, Pinas. Yeah. But in the power of intelligence, education and knowledge of the eternity, spirituality, immortality, of the religious education of the statistics from Cape to Cairo, with 12 continents, of all the native nations, state, international countries, and villages, and everything in it, so of one earth, Islamic religion, through the sons of the soil of the one soil of one earth, Holy Quran temples in the towns of the six, but a Cape Town even before the Fort movement, but they were always there. But of before 1652 United Nations, United Unions, through to the fusion unions of the earth, temples, chambers, and embassies, and embassies of the manuscripts of the unity of the Dutch East Indian Company. What is it? In unity with all the united multiracial native nations of the fusion of the continents of Africa, Euro, Gaza, yeah, I'm killed. What do you live? Yeah. To Middle East alloyed with the 7 seas of the 7 oceans, Ireland and Ireland to the union of the to the universal multi outer space native nations of one earth as the multiracial nations in the continent of the United States of continent of the motion picture Independence Day, Fifth Element, Amistad, Roots, Blood Diamond, 12 Years of Slavery, Malcolm X and Black Panther, and the Lunar Tunes of Warner Bros. To the omnibus of Transformers, Expandables, Mutants, Marvel, Mutants, Fast and the Furious, to the omnibus of the Planet of Apes, and all the One Earth music industries with the native food of the soul, which is the rhythm of the beat, which rumbles and rumbles and bumbles and wumbles and fumbles and tumbles and lubbles and zwangles and dribbles and quadruple ping ping pong of the rhythm of the drum beat that keeps the life in passion to ultimate, from sound cloud passion to survive, to the journey goes on of the third, fourth, first, fifth, sixth to the ninth testament of the ninth industrial, to the chronicles of the ninth testament of the ninth industrial, the chronicles of But hey, leave a cake. First, then leave. Thank you, guys. We'll meet again in the next nearby future.